Hi, my name is Amy, and I've been asked to talk about navigating the 2025 ISHLT Symposium submissions. We will go through the process of the ISHLT submissions, giving tips for how to collaborate and brainstorm. I'll talk briefly about the program committee and how it works, hopefully giving some advice and guidance for people as they prepare for submitting to the 2025 annual meeting. So through our time today, we'll go through how to generate ideas and topics for the symposia, how to translate these into lectures, selecting the style of the symposium, and then selecting moderators and speakers, as well as collaborations and some tips that have tended to work well. So when generating ideas for symposiums, the best thing to do is if you're at the annual meeting, you're going to have tons of ideas that come to mind. Have a little notebook, have something in your phone where you just jot those down so you don't forget them. Or if you're on rounds or taking care of patients or going about your day, just have a place where you can put down ideas as they come to mind. A lot of times this is the ideas generate from questions. And I often say, what do you want to know that you don't know already? And that's typically the basis for a lot of these ideas that get generated is what's a hot topic, what's an upcoming trend. There's also a topic list on ISHLT.org. You can talk with your peers and colleagues. You can also send out communications on ISHLT using the professional communities and their interdisciplinary network forums to post ideas and get suggestions. There is a statement from ISHLT that talks specifically about education, and it's looking for forums and programs that examine, discuss, debate regarding the efficacy and applicability of the current practices, emerging technologies, and medical advices. So you can kind of use this to also see, generate some ideas of like what types of things we might be looking for. So the actual process of translating the idea into a lecture. So there's going to be a symposium topic. You'll have to add about 2 to 3 sentences of a rationale for the symposium. And then you'll have multiple lectures within your symposium that actually comprise the symposium session. And then each of the lectures will need a title. Usually we try to choose creative titles. So maybe songs, maybe a movie, maybe a well-known statement or phrase. And then each lecture will have a rationale statement. And we'll cover this a little bit later, but the rationale statements are really only just a few sentences. It's very, very easy to go over the word limit. And then when you're trying to submit it, you're like, oh no, I'm over words. So just be mindful from that from the beginning. It has to be very succinct and concise. These are the different professional communities. I've listed them all here. And so most of the ideas start within the professional community. So you may be, for example, you might be involved in the pediatric professional community. Maybe you're involved in the pharmacy community. You have an idea and you begin to generate it. You share it with your professional community team. And then eventually that's going to get shared with your, with the corresponding interdisciplinary network that idea should go to. So if it's a topic about heart failure medications, it would go up through the heart failure transplant IDN. If it's a topic more geared towards pulmonary hypertension, then it's going to go to the PVD, interdisciplinary network, to have some review and insights there. The goal of this collaboration is really to prevent duplication of idea submission and collaboration on the front end so that people can put their ideas in together. These are an example of the 4 interdisciplinary networks. So we have advanced heart failure transplantation, advanced lung failure transplantation, mechanical circulatory support, and then pulmonary vascular disease. So again, working with your professional communities and your IDNs is very, very important for just helping facilitate collaboration, meeting other people. Sometimes the steering committees or those involved will have ideas for who you could actually reach out to additionally to strengthen the symposium submission idea. And it's particularly helpful if you're new to the process because it allows you to collaborate and meet with other people and then also learn how the process works. And so it's kind of nice to have that type of a learning process as part of the whole submission. So the style. So ISHLT ultimately determines the number and lengths of the symposium session for each year. This is released shortly after the annual meeting and it will be on the website. And then our job as submitters is to take our ideas that we have, put them into come up with different topic lectures. So it's usually 3 to 4, make our creative titles up, give a rationale for it, and then create a title for the overarching symposium. And then that's what we submit by the June, it's usually the very last week of June deadline. So this is an example when you're actually selecting speakers and moderators, you have to do this as part of your submission. So the easiest way to do this is to use the ISHLT Connect website. Become very, very familiar with it. You'll spend a lot of hours on it. If you don't know people, you might have to like PubMed different names of a topic, and then you can go and look up and see if they're a member of ISHLT. ISHLT prefers all speakers and moderators' suggestions be members. And they can actually flip out or switch out people at the time of program planning committee if that individual isn't a member. But you can look up people here in the member directory. You can look them up by name, by email, by organization. You can also look them up by professional community and interdisciplinary network communities. You can basically just go in and select a professional community and hit search without putting any names in. And you can actually see a whole list of people. And then you can just start to see like, oh, I wonder if this person would be able to give this talk. So that takes a bit of time to do, but it's a very important part of the process. So just a couple of things. We do have to be gender balanced, internationally balanced, and have early career representation. So we usually try to see making sure we have enough of the international representation. So some from Europe, some from Asia continent, some from the North American continent. Try a variation of generations. So we don't have all senior people, but we also don't have all early career individuals speaking, and then balanced gender. As mentioned previously, everybody must be an ISHLT member. And if a non-speaker is suggested, the planning committee could actually replace that person with an ISHLT member that they feel has comparable experience. The submission process itself is pretty straightforward, but I will say don't wait till the last minute. The site usually slows down a bit, and also you usually end up realizing that you have too many words or something needs to be tweaked. So if at all possible, try to not wait till the last minute. This is a screenshot of the submission site from Prague. There's a separate link and email that gets sent out on the ISHLT by ISHLT, and you'll use that with your ISHLT credentials to log in. But it is a different site than the ISHLT actual website. The most tips I can provide is become very familiar with ISHLT.org and ISHLT Connect. So ISHLT.org is where you'll find in the tab for the annual meeting for 2025, an actual program submission tab where you can get information. There's frequently asked questions on there. There's resources, there's templates. Everything will be on ISHLT.org. When you're going to find speakers and moderators, that's when you're going to want to use ISHLT Connect a lot to help search for those members who you can put their names in as potential speakers. Note the timeline. This will be posted on ISHLT.org. It's pretty fast. Usually May and June, and then the very end of June, everything's due. And then again, there's the 2025 conference page. It's going to be your go-to for all types of resources, the templates, the submission guide, and other things. This is just an example of what timeline from past year. So you can see May was symposium, proposal idea generation. You can do this on your own. You can do this with a colleague. Get in touch with your IDN professional community. And then you'll have your symposium submission time, your proposal review, and then after that, the program planning committee is going to be meeting. They'll decide on everything. And then by December, the preliminary program for the next year's meeting is released. So it's a pretty fast timeline, but it's super cool to be part of the annual meeting process in this way. And I would encourage everyone to participate. Also, don't be shy to collaborate with your professional community. If you don't know who to reach out to, just start with the chair. Everybody's listed on the ISHLT.org website. So if you go to getting engaged, the professional community, the IDNs, everybody's listed there. You can easily message them on Connect as well. And then again, pay attention to word limits. They will get you every time when you go to submit. And try not to wait till the last minute because everybody's on there. It's pretty slow. You usually find something that isn't quite right, and then you start to stress a little bit. So we try to avoid that. And absolutely do not underestimate your potential to impact the 2025 program. We do hope you all submit your ideas. Don't be afraid to ask questions either. The ISHLT staff is absolutely amazing. They're awesome. They're great resources as well. So don't be afraid to reach out if you need. And then just real quick, a couple reasons why the proposals are not accepted. It just could be that it's not fully developed, that it has overlapping content with other proposals submitted. So again, trying to get that caught up on the front end will be helpful by engaging your PCs and IDNs. If the topic is covered recently, so sometimes looking back at prior year programs to see like, oh, well, was this presented last year? Because the chances of it being selected again are going to be slim, because I'll try to keep the topics more novel and original and not duplicates of the prior year. And then if you don't have enough gender, generation, or geography variation. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please reach out.